basket. And I can recall taking them out, carrying them outside for my mother into the backyard, and then she'd have a line. Now, there wasn't a dryer or anything like that. You carried them outside, and you had the lines there. You might have a number of lines, and you would take these clothes and hang them up a certain way that my mother knew how. If I tried to hang up a shirt or a dress or something, forget it. But she knew how to put all this. I can remember handing her clothespins. And she would be wearing an apron or something, I can't recall. And she'd have clothespins right in there, and she'd bring them out there. But every once in a while, I'd have to go get some clothespins and give them to her, and she'd put them into this apron. And then she would go, I'd pick up a piece of cloth, and she'd hold it up there. And I could see her taking a clothespin out of her mouth and putting it in to hold those clothes up. These were not spring, regular wooden clothespins that you pushed down to hold them on the line, And that was wash day, Monday. And I can also recall in the wintertime, my mother, taking these clothes outside in the backyard. And it was freezing cold and maybe snow, and hanging them up on the line. Now, I don't remember if my mother I don't know if even had gloves for a lady, what I mean, to put on. But it must have been colder than hell.
Oh,
to take these clothes and put them on that line and do this, with your bare hands. But I was a kid just looking up at my mother, watching her do these things. And many times, when it came the next day or that night or whenever, my mother would go out to get these clothes, and it was like bringing in boards. They would be frozen solid. Because the reason I say this, I can remember saying to my mother, Mom, I've got to have some clean underwear. Now, this stuff was frozen, John. Yes, frozen. And my mother would bring that into the kitchen. Now, I guess, I don't know, to thaw them out, I guess she would, I don't know. Because she had no dryer or anything. She had to dry them by the stove, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than that, just hang them out in the summertime on the line. And I can remember my mother saying, come over here. And she had my underwear. And I'm talking about long underwear. I'm not talking about stuff that they'd have today. They call them long johns, whatever. And she'd say, all right, put your feet in them. And I'd put my feet into these. And after I had them in there, I stood there. She would be behind me and grab me by my shoulders and lift me right off the floor. To get me down into these things. Because I don't know how much help I was to her, you know what I mean? Maybe for the irons, but I can remember being shaken right into this damn piece of clothes. And whether they were adjusted later, I can't recall. But my mother said, there, okay, all right, button them up. You didn't have a zipper or anything, button them up, go on, and get upstairs. There, you got your underwear on. Now I don't recall, sleeping with that underwear, no. That was like doing the first thing in the morning, putting that on. Now, we had like night shirts, John, not pajamas. It was like a night shirt, maybe my mother made them, And my father and mother wore night shirts, They did, I can remember my father wearing a night shirt. Didn't wear pajamas, nightgowns, whatever you call them. And all us kids, we had those. We didn't think anything of it. That was what you wore. And then the next day, you put these long johns on. Now, in the beginning, like I said, when my mother had freshly washed them, they were in starch, I don't know, but they were tough to get on. And this is why I can remember when I was a little snot, she would shake me lift me right off the floor and shake me into these things. Now, that's the truth, man.